Bible verse means, and what hope does it provide us as business owners? If you are an online business owner that provides a service to someone else, coaching, course creation, some sort of agency that you own, then you know that dreaming big is just part of being an online business owner. We have to know where we're going so that we can create a business that's going to get us to those goals and serve our clients well. And so this verse is often one that people come back to say, oh, well, the Lord always has good for me. He plans to prosper me. That means my business is going to just be awesome and do well no matter what. But the problem with that is we miss the context in which God gave that promise to a very specific group of people in the Old Testament. Jeremiah 29 and the verse 29:11 sits in the middle of a book about a group of people that were in exile. They had been taken out of their land, their temple had been destroyed, and it felt as if the presence of the Lord had been removed from them entirely. And what's significant about that is that the Israelites were just arrogant enough to believe that that would never happen. And that's why this was so devastating to them when they were brought into exile. They thought, based on false prophets and what people were saying, that they would only be in that land, in this land of Babylon, for 2 years. And what we find out from Jeremiah in chapter 28 is that the Lord tells Jeremiah that is simply not true. They are holding on to something that is not true, and it's not from me. And actually, the prophet who said that they would only be there for 2 years ends up dead because what he said was not true. Jeremiah tells the people, and specifically from the Lord, that they are actually going to be there for 70 years, not 2. That's devastating. After being brought into exile into a land that was unknown, where they didn't know the language, it was a foreign land, and thinking that they were going to go there based off of being there for 2 years, hearing that it was going to be 70 is just a huge blow. Doesn't that happen to us as online business owners too? We think that something's going to happen in a way that we've planned it to happen. And then God says, no, it's going to happen in a different way than what you expected. There are times in our online business where we feel like we've been brought into exile. We've been brought into a foreign land where nothing seems to be going well. Nothing seems to be going right. We aren't getting clients. It's just this churn and burn of content creation. And it's like, is anybody listening? Have you been in that exile before in your business? I'm guessing that we've probably all experienced that at some point in time. Well, God is good to his people, and he didn't leave them. He left his presence in the temple. It wasn't there any longer. But he didn't leave the people in Babylon, the Israelites there, alone. He came and he spoke through Jeremiah. And I think that when we just skip to verse 11, we miss out on the beautiful verses that come right before that. What God is asking them to do while they are there in that exile in the wilderness. Here is some of that, what God says to them, starting in verse 4. This is what the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, says to those I carried into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon. God brought them there. He didn't leave them and tell them to go. He brought them there. Build houses and settle down, is what he tells them. Plant gardens and eat what they produce. Marry and have sons and daughters. Find wives for your sons and give your daughters in marriage, so they too may have sons and daughters. Increase in number there. Do not decrease. Keep doing the good work, in other words. And I love this in verse 7. Also, seek the peace and prosperity of the city to which I have carried you into exile. Pray to the Lord for it, because if it prospers, you too will prosper. That's what God tells them to do, is do the work even though you are there in the exile. And here's the beautiful part. God didn't just bring them into exile and leave them there and say, good luck for the next 70 years. He also had a dream for them. And he tells the Israelites, I'm dreaming of Jerusalem for you. I already have a plan for you way out in the future. Some of you who are here right now aren't going to see it because 70 years is going to pass. Typically, that's a generation or more of people. And so you might not see it, but I have a plan for you as a people to go back to Jerusalem. And that's the good news of this message, is that Jeremiah 28 and 29 tells us that God is dreaming of a future for us. And that principle applies to us today, that even in our business building journey, if we feel like we are in a wilderness right now, in an exile, God is dreaming for us for the future. And the even better news is that he wants us to dream with him. He wants to partner with us in the dreaming, because we've got some ideas, but his dreams are typically even bigger and better than even ours could ever be. He's dreaming of Jerusalem for you. Here's what happens though. We see those big dreams and we don't get all the details, because that's not the way God works. He doesn't tell us the whole plan. But what we often do when he invites us into something so big and so new, we often just want to stay where we are because it's become comfortable and we know it. And so, is God inviting you into a bigger dream in your business than you could ever imagine? Is he telling you, hey, I have a plan for you and I want to take you there. I want to take you to this new dream back in Jerusalem. And sometimes are we just saying, I'd kind of rather just stay here. It's comfortable here. I know it. I know what I'm doing. And even if I'm not where I want to be, it feels safe. Well, you can't get to where you want to go in your business by staying here. And you can't get to where you want to go and who God is inviting you to be by doing what you've always done. It's time to start dreaming about your business and the life that you are being invited into by God. And I'd love to partner with you in that. That is something that I love to do with people, to explore the possibilities of what God has for you, even though you feel like you are currently in exile or in the wilderness. Let's spend 30 minutes together and just talk and get to know each other and ask God what he's inviting you into for your business. I'd love to partner with you in that. You can click the link below to sign up for 30 minutes with me. Again, we'll just chat over Zoom and talk about what you are being invited to into your business. I look forward to meeting you and talking with you and dreaming big with you alongside God.